ho, ho!
Welcome to the Bookish Introverts Podcast. Join host Amazon bestselling author Brett Nelson and avid reader Melanie Dyer as they dive in to review books they've read, then chat with the amazing authors behind them. Quiet minds, big bookshelves. You don't want to miss it.
Hello, everybody. It's Brett and Jessica. And if you're watching us, we are not confused as to the time of the year. This is our first annual Christmas in July.
So this is the first time you've ever done a Christmas in July?
It's the first time
we've
ever. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, I feel privileged. I'm special.
I texted Jessica and I was like, hey, what do you think about doing a Christmas book in July? She was like, oh, yes, please.
Yeah, and we've got some Christmas shirts on.
So for those of you that are listening, I've got my little red t-shirt. It's got a Santa belt across the bottom. It says, does this suit make me look fat?
I love that.
And then across it, I've got a green Oh Snap gingerbread man, like a button-up shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And
mine
Jessica...
It also has a gingerbread, and it says, oh, snap.
Oh, snap. So
Gingerbread man.
We just wanted to do something fun. So
yeah, out of the ordinary.
Yes, and so we picked a book called, what is it, Jessica?
It's called Christmas Jars. And for those that are watching, I'll show you
It's
the
by
cover.
Jason F. Wright. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and this book is a movie, I found out.
I didn't know that. I could so see that.
Yeah.
It could so be a movie.
Yeah. Now, none of the actors in it were anyone I knew. So I don't think it's like a mainstream.
Like how long ago was it made? The movie.
It was. I don't really remember. It was in the late 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's fairly recent.
I need to find it and watch it.
Yeah, check out the movie. I'm probably going to check it out at some point. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
I have Prime. That's perfect.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's to watch for free, but I did Google where it's streaming, and that was one of the options. So it may be for a rent, but surely it's not more than $5, so it'd still be good for a watch. So the first book that we chose, I sent you a few options and was like, hey, do any of these sound good to you? And the first one you picked, it really sounded good to us, but Amazon only had one of them.
Oh, wow.
And so,
like paperback?
Yeah, the paperback, yeah. So I was like, well, I've never ordered a book from Amazon that they had a limited supply. So, but anyway, I thought, well, we'll save that. Maybe we'll save that one for Christmas. Maybe by Christmas time, the publisher will have more books available or whatever. So anyways, we decided to go with this one. And one thing I like about this one is, and you can tell me what you think about it too. This is a great Christmas book to read if you don't want all the ho, 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 sleigh bells ring. If you just want kind of just a fun, entertaining, a little bit of a serious note to it, but without all the silliness. And sometimes I like books like that, especially at Christmas, though. I do like the more festive, hot cocoa and sleigh bells. And so I thought this would be perfect for a Christmas in July because
it's not heavy on all of the Christmas festivities, activities, so on and so forth. Yeah. It's basically just because it's Christmas time.
Yes. It's Christmas time because it's referenced, but it's not smack you in the face.
Exactly.
So if that kind of Christmas book appeals to you, this would be a great one to pick up. Another reason why I was reluctant to read this one at first is because when I looked at the Amazon categories, the Amazon category is a denomination that I would never steer anyone toward. So I was like, uh-oh.
What does that mean? Amazon?
Well, like every book has 3 different categories. Like Christmas books, Christian fiction. Well,
what category was this one in?
It was under, I don't want to say, because if anyone's this denomination, I don't want to offend anyone, but it was...
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so it was under a denomination that I would never steer anyone toward.
Okay.
And so but then I was like, you know what? Let's just read it. If it's icky, we don't have to do it. We can always switch to something else.
And not icky at all.
No.
I mean, and really no mention of religion.
No, there was
no
religion. There was no theology. There was no weird theology. I was like, okay, this is just a good book that's not trying to push anything on anyone.
Oh, no.
And so I really liked it. So again, sometimes you need to set your judgmentalism aside and just check things out and see what you think.
Yeah.
And this happened to me in a group I'm in on Facebook. It's a Christian fiction readers group. I read this book, absolutely loved it. This has been probably a year ago. And It was a Viking book. It was my first Viking
Okay.
book, and it was superb. It was by an author I'd never heard of.
Wow.
And so, of course, I posted about it in the group because it was not a book or an author I had ever heard anyone post about in that group. Well, it got tons of engagement. People were like, "Oh my goodness, I've never heard of this author. Thank you for telling us about it." Blah blah blah. And literally, it had like 500 or 600 comments on it.
That's awesome.
So tons of engagement. Well, some busybody woman goes, "Well, I just looked this up, and the publisher looks like it publishes this denomination." The moderators of the group took it down. Now, mind you, the group's rules are we don't argue about whether a Christian fiction book is Christian enough, whether it has too much or not, because that's what a lot of people like to squabble about. It had too much or it didn't have enough. Usually in Christian fiction, people, if they're Christians, they're usually talking about it didn't have enough. And the moderators in their group, they're like, we're not going to have those arguments. If the book is categorized as Christian fiction, then we will accept it as such, and we will not comment about a book having lack of Christian fiction or too much. And so I contacted one of the moderators. I said, "How dare you take my post down, because this book is listed as Christian fiction." So it did not break any rules. And so I said, "We don't even know that the author was this denomination."
But it somehow was linked to it.
Well, because apparently the publishing company is known to publish books within that denomination, and so this judgmental, horrible woman was offended by it, and it was like this book. There was no theology for that denomination in it. It was just a fun historical fiction read.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes we just need to
just gotta ruin it for everyone else.
Exactly.
People
One
like that.
person always ruins it for everybody.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
I know, and I think, and we as Christians can tend to be closed-minded.
Oh, for sure.
If we do feel like there is some kind of connection to something that we disagree with, it's like, oh, nope, not for me. But I mean, we would have missed out on a really good book if we had made that decision, because it's like, well, they publish books that have to do with a denomination that I don't agree with. So, I mean, we have to have our standards, obviously.
Yeah. But I did read it with more scrutiny because I didn't want any of that denomination's theological beliefs shoved at me.
Well, you didn't tell me this until now, so I had no preconceived notions about it. I didn't know anything about that. So I went into it with a blank slate, not expecting anything. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I didn't. So didn't know that before I read it. But I mean, really, there's no talk of any kind of religion. No,
Christian or otherwise. Yeah. So Christians, we need to do better.
Yeah, I agree.
We do. And I'm pointing to myself too, because I was a little bit judgmental about it first too, because my knee-jerk reaction was to say, okay, do we want to pick another book? But then I was like, no, we're not going to be like that. We're going to try it and see how it worked out. And it worked out.
And it worked out, and it was a really good book.
And if it's important to you, it's a really thin
Just
book.
So small.
It's like 120 pages, and it's 120 pages in a small, but it's not like a 6x9, 120 pages. It's like a 5x8 or whatever size
5x7.
Yeah. So again, if you're into short books, I typically don't reach out for novellas. I like full-sized books. But sometimes life's crazy, and you just need you want something to read, but you don't want something that's a heavy investment. So
and I felt like this was perfect timing for me. I think I'd mentioned to you, like, I've just had a lot going on in life lately, work, things like that. And I said, this is a perfect time for a small book, an easy read.
Yeah. Well, and you read it in like a day and a half.
Yeah.
You and Charity does that too.
Wow, this was a small enough one. You could read it in a day easy.
Yeah.
I pretty much did just read it in a day.
Well, and it's funner to do that because
it's fresh on my mind.
It's fresh on your mind. And so great book. Really liked it. So why don't you take us into it? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so it's New Year's Eve. And Louise, which is the first character that we're introduced to, she's having dinner at Chuck's Chicken and Things.
Love it.
I love that name. on Highway 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's this little quaint, maybe like a diner, some type of a restaurant.
Just a small town diner. Yeah. And you kind of get the sense that she's maybe a little bit of a loner.
Yes, I think it does. It briefly gives you a little bit of a background for her. Golly, I'm kind of fuzzy right now on that. Where she, what talked about her mom, how her mom was a single mother, and it was her and her brother, and her mom was she cleaned houses for a living, and that's something that Louise kind of inherited, I guess, from her, where they kind of worked together. They had a cleaning business. She started
working with her mom, and it became kind of not lucrative, as in it made them rich, but
they made a living doing it.
And
they actually started their own business. So, so that's just something that was very special to Louise. She enjoyed cleaning, and so as an adult, she decided to make that her career as well.
Yeah.
So she's, and I believe, never been married, doesn't have children.
Yeah, and her going out to eat on New Year's Eve is kind of stems from a tradition that she had with her mother, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Of course, at this point, her mother has died, so she's doing it by herself.
She's passed away. And so she just seems very content with the life that she's living. She's content being single. She's content cleaning houses. She just seems she's very content where she's at in life.
And listen, if you can find something that makes you content, that's half the battle of life right there.
It really is. I think especially us Americans, we have the tendency to want to try to go for that American dream, that stepping up the ladder, and like that's not a bad thing to advance yourself in a career, to have aspirations, to have goals. Those are all good things. But I think sometimes there's something to be said for someone like this that has a simpler life, that is just content in it. And I think that's one thing that I struggled with when I was single. Just like being content in that season of my life and feeling fulfilled in that season of life. So it just felt like there was always something I was missing out on, or, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
On being single?
Yeah.
I'm totally content in it.
I feel like you are.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I'm not actively looking for dates.
Yeah.
Now, and I always jokingly say, if I'm ever going to get married or be in a serious relationship, Scott's going to have to drop her in my lap, because I ain't looking anymore.
Don't blame you. Well, and that's, as a woman, I feel like it's a little bit different being single as a woman versus as a man. But that's one thing I struggled with for a while, feeling that...
Is that old maid spinster thing still a thing?
I mean,
in
yes,
our modern
I
world?
feel... Maybe not that terminology, but yes, like it's still, the concept is still very alive and well.
The stigma is there.
The stigma of, yes, and it's people treat you like you're half of a person, or you're not a whole person. That there's something missing in your life. And, people would try to set me up, and I'd have blind dates and all that stuff. I hated that.
Know. Yeah.
But people make you feel as if there's something wrong with you.
They do. They feel like because they found happiness in marriage. And listen.
And I'm happy for them.
And I'm happy for them. Even though they're on their third marriage, I'm happy for them. He said non-judgmentally.
Yeah, right.
But, I don't think you have to be married to be happy. If you're truly,
totally
and I'm truly happy in it. So
yes.
I just don't.
And I just wish that people would really grasp that concept, that someone can be fulfilled in singleness.
Yeah.
Like that can be a fulfilling life for someone. If they're content in it.
Yeah.
Why do people feel the need to
to
really push you? I mean, I've just felt pushed. I felt they would just push me to try to date, try to do this, Yeah. It's like, why is this so concerning to you?
Yeah.
This is my life, not yours.
Yeah.
Why are you so concerned?
Why does it worry you
Why
so
does
much?
it bother you so much?
At a church I went to years ago, one of the pastors came up to me, super nice guy, I love him to death. He came up to me and he goes, listen, I don't mean this rude, but he said, when are you going to get married? He said, you're young, you're a good looking guy. He said, why are you still single? When are you getting married? I said, I don't know. If I ever do, you'll be the first to know.
Yes.
He was like, okay, good enough.
Yes. So, like, again, people can be very judgmental, very pushy. People can be well-meaning. They love you. They are for you.
They want the best for
They're
you.
not out to get you, or, I mean, they're not an enemy of yours, but they're still, like, just... And I think they don't realize how that makes you feel, though. That the comments that they make, or things that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I kind of tend to think of it a little bit, and I know I'm nothing like Paul in the Bible, but, with me, I feel like being single really works for my life, because when I get off work, I can come home and write till midnight.
Yeah.
And eat popcorn for dinner while I'm eating. I don't have to worry about
no one to answer
splitting my time with the family, being able to write half as much as I want to, because I have a family to entertain, a family to take care of. Yeah. So for me, it almost feels like a blessing to me to be single.
Yeah, and it absolutely can be. So, and one thing I had to come to a reconciliation of that within myself, to where I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, this is just the season that I'm in, and maybe this is not a season. Maybe this is the rest of my life. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, but I have to find fulfillment where I'm at. I have to feel like I'm a whole person just as I am, and that I'm not missing my other half, so to speak.
Yeah. But see, and this is very telling, because the fact that you had to wrestle with finding contentment in that season in life, that's very telling, in that may not have been God's plan for your life forever, to be single.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if that were His plan for your life, you would have felt more contentment in it.
Right.
You wouldn't have had to wrestle and search for that kind of contentment.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that, because I feel like my heart's desire was to be married. But again, it was like, but it's not happening. So it's like, well, maybe I just need to.
Maybe I want something that He
let go of that. And there was a time where I just prayed. I was like, God, if this is not meant for me, then help me to let it go. Help me to not desire it and want it. And and I did feel like the Spirit of God just spoke to me and said, no, I do have that for you.
You just need to wait a while.
Yeah, like wait on me. His timing
and we all
and
know
ours
that's not
are
easy.
So different.
Yeah.
So different. So I am married now, and I'm happily married, and I love my husband. And, it's work. It's not perfect,
Well, no. Yeah.
And, but.
And anyone that's trying to convince you it is.
Right.
Well,
lying. And I feel like when you're single, when you're younger and single, you think, oh, this is going to solve all my problems. I'll get married and it'll solve all my problems. No.
Not realizing that the problems are there. It's just a whole different set.
Exactly. So anyway, so that's just a little side combo there. But because she's a single lady, that just that made me think. I mean, obviously, I have a connection to somebody like that, because I've experienced that. I was in my early 40s before I ever got married. So so it's hard. The older you get and you're still single, that's like
Well, exactly.
It's hard.
And that's why because I'll be honest, there were times younger in my life when I wasn't as content with it, because I never dreamed in my life. We grow up thinking one of these days we're going to get married. We're going to have our own home.
You're conditioned to think that.
Yeah,
you're conditioned
because
to think
it's
that.
A societal normalcy.
Yep, it's a norm.
Yeah, it's a societal norm.
And it's what your parents want for you typically. Things like that. Your family members expect that of you.
So there was a time when I wasn't as accepting of it, because that's just, I never dreamed that this would how life would turn out.
Yeah.
But God has given me contentment with it. So
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I do. And I became that way too before it was almost like I had to learn that lesson before God was like, okay, now you can get married.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I got somebody for you. And the fact that he's, over a decade younger than me, I had to wait for him to get old enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
Well, have you ever okay, so one of my frustrations with being single, even to this day, is I don't routinely have anyone to do anything with.
That's one thing I struggled with.
That's one thing that I do struggle with is I would like to have somebody to go out and go out,
Just a companion.
Yeah. I'm not one of those people that's comfortable going out to eat by myself. So if I don't have someone to sit in the restaurant with me, I'm going to take it home and eat it.
Yeah.
Same. If a movie comes out, which these days is very rare that a movie comes out that I actually want to see, even though I still have a few single friends left.
Yeah.
They don't always want to go out when I want to do it. They're tired. They worked all week, and it's like, so I do still kind of have that frustration because it's like, listen,
I totally get that.
Christina, get off your lazy honey. Go get a shower. We are going to Hobby Lobby to look at Christmas stuff in July.
That's right.
You have no choice. You're doing it.
And you do have friends that you go on like vacations with things
yeah.
like, and I feel like God will bless you with friends that you can do those things with.
Yeah.
Because again, like if he hasn't saw fit to bring you your helpmate along or, a spouse along and that's just kind of where you're at, I think he will see you with friends that are maybe in a similar situation. Because I felt like that too.
Yeah.
I felt like he blessed me with friends that were also single, and so we just could do things together, and you could have some companionship. So, because it is not God's will or plan for you to be isolated and alone all the time and lonely.
Yeah.
No, not even if you are single, that doesn't mean that you should be lonely and alone. Mm-hmm. Not at all.
There's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Yeah.
I enjoy being alone a lot of times. Like, I'm not a person that has to be around people all the time. Honestly, the older I get, the more alone I like to be. But I'm truly happy being alone most of the time. I'm not lonely while I'm alone.
Right.
It's because I'm writing, I'm working on the podcast.
Yes.
I'm watching movies that I want to watch, and I don't have to feel guilty because my mate doesn't want to watch it with me.
Well, that was one key for me. That was a key to being content in singleness, was finding things that fulfilled you, not just being idle all the time. I needed to find things that made me feel fulfilled in life, that I had purpose and meaning in life. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're single and maybe you're struggling, I hope this is an encouragement to you, because that was a key for me to finding contentment within that season, was like, find things to do, find hobbies.
Yes.
And you can also meet people and make friends if you go out and do things. Like for me, I play tennis, and there's this whole tennis community of people that I never would have met otherwise if I hadn't got out and joined a team or a league or whatever. So, playing tennis or taking piano lessons, like things like that, where it's like, find things like, it's like, you know what, I've always wanted to play the guitar. Yeah. We'll start taking lessons and learn how to play the guitar.
A few years ago, Mom and I went to the art center and took oil painting lessons for I
love that.
10, 16 weeks, whatever. And to this day, I still dabble in it. Now, am I going to enter anything I paint in an exhibit? No. But it's fun to just sit down and be like, oh, I created that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that to me was a very important aspect of finding contentment in my season of singleness.
Yeah. And I think that's key in a Christian life.
Find things to do.
And Paul teaches that. Is it in Corinthians, I think, that where he teaches, be content in everything. Yeah. Learn to be content in everything. Yes. And it's not something that comes to you naturally, because we're fallen souls. We live in a fallen world. Contentedness does not come naturally to us, so we have to sort of learn.
Yes, I agree. It's like a learned behavior. I agree. And get involved in your church. Hopefully you attend a church. If not, I hope you find one. But get involved. Get in a small group or whatever. I mean, that's how you can meet people and make friends. And, a lot of churches have single groups nowadays, too.
Oh, listen.
Which you might not be interested in.
Well, I used to go to them all the time.
Yeah.
But I got to where, like, even when I go to churches now that have them, if I'm visiting around or going, not even interested in singles groups anymore, because especially, I guess it's okay if you're looking for someone to date and
because that would be a good way to meet other singles.
But for me, I don't want to do that because I'm not interested now.
Because everybody's probably trying to play matchmaker.
Yes.
Matchmaker. And that, again, as a single person that's just trying to be content in that season, that you don't want to be constantly bombarded by people trying to set you up and trying to be matchmaker.
Let it happen.
It is a little annoying
if it's going to happen, invite me out to dinner with you with somebody that you want to set me
let
up
it be
on.
more organic.
Yes, and then let it naturally let them naturally
see if there's a spark.
If there's a spark there,
Totally
if they end the night with the hey, you want to go out and do something.
You
sometime?
exchange numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
So,
and one I would never have thought to bring that up in this podcast episode. So
you're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Well, I mean, like I said, the main character being single. I mean, that's just, and again, having a lot of experience myself, you as well.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we had that little convo.
Yeah.
And I hope that helped someone.
Hope so. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys.
So,
unless you're telling us Jessica's hair looks ugly, then we don't need to hear that.
I was telling him the last podcast, I was just constantly like messing with I was just like, oh, that looks bad. So I'm gonna try not to touch it today because I did get a new haircut. So
watching yourself on camera makes you notice all kinds of ticks you don't know you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was aware I was doing it. I just couldn't stop.
One thing I've noticed about me in editing, I just did it. I say all the time. It's right, and I never notice it in normal speech.
Yes, you don't realize it.
Yeah.
A word tick for me is,
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's like, listen,
I try not
you're
to
not
say
a
that
Valley
too
girl
much.
from the 1980s. Stop saying "like" in every sentence. I'm serious.
And I think we all kind of have those little word ticks.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't realize mine was that until I had to record myself doing a mock interview for one of my classes. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I say that often?
Yeah. If you want to see how you really present yourself to people, record yourself and watch it.
Yeah.
Be prepared
definitely.
to cringe.
True story. Okay, so back to the book, guys. So she's just having a dinner. It's a annual yearly dinner that she has at Chuck's Chicken and Things
on New Year's Eve.
Well,
she got sick this year and had to push it back.
Oh, she postponed it because
because
she would have it on Christmas Eve. That's what it was.
And she had to push it back to New Year's.
You're so
right.
right.
So you see a little bit of providence here as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's actually New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
She's had to delay having her meal because I think she'd had pneumonia or something. So I don't know. Did she just where was this package she found?
Well, it was on the booth right behind her.
Oh, okay.
And she hears a little noise and she's like, what is that? She looks around. She gets up and walks around the other side and she sees a little package in there. What was in the package?
It's a baby.
It's a baby. Okay, and listen. I'm good at suspending belief. Yeah. How did anyone bring a baby in? First of all, if you bring a big package in, people are going to notice if you don't carry it out. So how do you bring it in and leave it without anybody remember? Oh, you know what? I do remember somebody brought this in. She was a woman. She had red hair.
How did the other diners not just... Yeah. I mean...
Because that baby did not lay there for 3 hours and not make a sound. I mean... Maybe she gave it Benadryl and kept it asleep for I don't know.
Did it say that? Did it say she'd been there for 3 hours? I mean, who knows? I don't know.
I'm just like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, how? How did this woman drop this baby off and get back out? And then,
unnoticed.
However long it sat there before Louise heard it, to me. But,
so she discovers that someone has left this baby behind. There's a note.
Uh-huh.
So the note basically says, I am a young mother that has an abusive husband, and I cannot keep this baby. Long story short.
And good for you for doing that.
I want to give the baby a better life than what I can give it. But who just leaves that baby at a diner?
Take it to the police. Take it to a hospital.
I mean, come on. A truck driver could have picked it up
right?
that didn't have good intentions. Exactly.
Yes,
or a sex trafficker.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a good judgment call on the mother's part. Now, good for you for realizing you can't give it the life it deserves and giving it up, but you got to do it in the right way, people.
Yes, because anybody could have picked that baby up and done who knows what with it.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's better than a lot of stories you read. A lot of times when you read stories like this, they leave it on the doorstep of a church in the middle of December, and it's like, okay, the child's going to freeze to death.
Freeze to death.
Yeah. But,
So at any rate,
yeah.
so she, I thought this was a little odd at first. She just takes the baby home with her, and I thought, why wouldn't you just go to the police station with it?
That's what I'm
or
thinking.
just call the police, like while you're at the restaurant. I would be like asking the waitress, somebody that worked there, like, "Hey, whose baby is this?"
Right? Yeah. Well, like,
asking around.
What if the mother's in the bathroom? Like, and again,
you just kidnapped a baby.
This makes me question why you would leave your child in a booth unattended to go to the. But still,
right?
It didn't say that.
But
that's
the
what
note.
it was.
But the note. Okay, there is a note. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did know that the child had been abandoned. Yeah.
But still, I would be talking to the workers. I'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, somebody left this baby here. Look at this
Yeah.
note. I mean,
Yeah.
but the way they made it sound anyways, that she didn't say anything to anyone. She just took the
was
baby
like,
and went home with it.
"Woohoo!"
And then later on, though, you find out, okay, she went through the proper
Yeah.
channels. She called the police.
I still stand
social
by
services, whatever.
the proper procedure would have been to call the police while you were there.
Oh, yeah. I would never have just took it
Yeah.
home
Even
with
if
me.
you wanted a baby, no, you got to go through the proper channels.
Yes. And she did, but not immediately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
I thought that was a little odd.
that's a little bit of nitpicking, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, so she does. She goes through the proper channels to actually adopt the child. It's the book moves very, very quickly because
Yes.
it is so.
It's such a short book.
Such a short.
Yeah.
So-
She names the baby Hope.
Yes, and she gets to decide like a birth date for her because she
Yeah.
doesn't really know exactly what it would be. So I think she decides on January the 1st.
Listen,
as
if
the
you're
birth
going to
date.
abandon your child in a restaurant, at least leave some basic information. We need to
true.
know when the birthday is.
Yeah.
She's awarded guardianship after several months goes by. She names her Hope, and then 5 years kind of goes by, and we learn that Hope and Louise have continued this tradition of going to Chuck's Chicken and Biscuits every. Did
But
they
it-
change it to Christmas
I-
Eve? Or are they still doing it on New Year's Eve?
That's what I'm like. I'm wanting to say they are doing it on Christmas Eve.
So 5 years later, Louise sets Hope down, and she kind of tells her, "Hey, this is how you came to be in my life." So Hope kind of
Which I
learns
thought,
that.
oh wow, okay. Like I wondered if is 5 years old enough to really take in that information, but then you don't want to wait too late
Yes, because
for
if
them
you,
to be like, well, why didn't you tell me
yeah,
sooner?
if you wait till they're 18, they may resent you for waiting.
Oh
so
yeah,
long.
so at 5 years old, she set her down and was like, "Well, I'm not your real mom. Your real
Yeah.
mom dropped you off
Maybe-
at this diner."
Maybe she felt
and-
like Hope was mature enough. at that point. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, really, 5? Is that old enough to really comprehend? But yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of get a little progression in the next few pages. You see her in kindergarten for a paragraph. Then she's in the 2nd grade, the 5th grade. So it does move
Yes.
incrementally pretty fast.
And she has a
Hope and-
propensity to, or she just has a knack for, a talent for, a desire to want to write,
Yes.
write stories and things like
Yes,
that.
that's
even as
established
a little
pretty
girl.
early on that that's sort of something that she has a talent in. And Hope, from an early age, sort of kind of begins this sort of childhood dream of, well, since my mom dropped me off here, maybe one of these days when I'm older, my mom will come back and I'll meet her.
Yes.
So,
yes. And
yeah.
I think she definitely had a hope and a desire to want to meet her mother someday. And even had a conversation with Louise. And Louise, I mean, they just had a wonderful relationship. Louise and
Such
Hope.
a fun relationship. Yeah.
Very pure. They just loved each other.
And I love that he went in that direction with their relationship, because so many writers would have gone into the dysfunctional family type thing, and I'm glad he didn't go in that direction.
No, definitely not. And
Dysfunction can be fun, but in this
can be entertaining.
Yes, it can be entertaining if you're not the one living it. But I like that he gave them a very loving relationship.
Oh, yes, very much so. I love that it says in 5th grade she wrote a family newsletter. So in 5th grade she started writing a newsletter and mailing it out to like 40 people, like people they were related to or whatever. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, yeah.
It says 6 states and Canada.
I mean, hey,
that's adorable. But I mean,
she gets more views than our YouTube channel does. So.
But well, I mean, at a very young age,
Yeah.
very aspirational in
Very
regard
much.
to her writing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting thing, though, in talking to as many authors as I do on here, you'd be surprised how many authors did not have an ambition to write when they were young.
Yeah.
You would think they would,
Yeah.
but that kind of
But later in
me.
life,
It's
something they
that
decided
they
to do.
picked up later in life. Yeah, a big majority of the people, they're like, no, I had absolutely no ambitions of becoming an author.
Well, I mean, you think about it, like as a kid. I mean, how many kids are like, I want to be an author when I grow up? You know, it's like, I want
Not
to be
many.
an astronaut
I want to be a
or a
fireman.
doctor or a fire.
Yeah. I think it's a noble thing to do.
Oh, I totally agree.
I love it. I enjoy it, but
But I think, you know, in childhood, you're like, who wants to sit and write for
Yeah.
a living?
right, yeah.
But she did.
She did. She
Yeah.
did from a very early age, yeah. So she eventually, in high school, she gets an internship to work for the Daily Record, and she goes through the internship, and this sort of becomes her full-time job.
I mean, she really is so aspirational, and she moves up so quickly.
Yes. She starts out in classified ads, I think, writing classified
And
ads.
she starts out as an intern.
Yeah.
And then they offer her a job. I think she's not even graduated from high school yet, and they actually offered her a job already. And so she's always looking the next step ahead. She's always like, "Ooh, I want to move to this position." And then it's like she gets there, and it's like, "Oh, I want to move up to this position."
Yes. A year later, she's promoted to writing about bake sales and fall festivals on the community page. So that's a little bit of a step up. 18 months later, and so there are a lot of like big jumps in time, which I was okay with. It didn't feel jarring to me.
No, it didn't. Like I said, it
felt
just
very
moved very
intuitive.
quickly.
Yeah. And again, I think it's because of the skill of the author, because you do have to know you do have to be a skillful writer.
To write a book this short and to get everything in that you need to get in
without
which
it
you
feeling
did it very
rushed
well,
or without it feeling disjointed. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so
and it didn't. And it really didn't. It didn't really feel that.
It didn't feel like a short novel, like a novella. It felt like, I mean, it felt like it just because of the length of it, but it felt like a very completed book. And I don't always feel that way with novellas.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times, that one reason why I don't like novellas and short stories is because you wind up thinking, of course, granted, because it's Christian fiction, everything has to be a romance. You can't build up a successful romance in 120 pages
Right.
and do it right.
Right.
Because it just doesn't feel right. Nobody, okay, I'm going to say this, and there's going to be someone out there that's going to say, that's not true, it happened to me. I'm sorry, but you cannot fall in love with somebody in that amount of time. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But
Like
because
love
there
at
was
first sight.
because there was no romance involved, that may have been why it didn't feel that way.
Yes, this was not a book about romance. It was not.
Thank you for giving us a book to read that has no romance.
Well, such a clever story. I mean, it really is.
It really is, yeah.
Okay, so they're out celebrating. She just got another promotion. Again, she just keeps going up that ladder very quickly. And Louise has some news to give to Hope.
Yeah.
And it's bad news. She tells her that she has ovarian cancer. And I just, your heart just broke a little bit.
Yeah.
And because it said how she just wept, and Louise just held her, and Hope just wept all night.
Scariest news ever. And I don't care
Yes.
whether it's ovarian, I don't care what kind it is. That's horrible news.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
nobody wants that news,
No.
and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
This was a really, really precious thing. So, so she had surgery to move the cancer.
And Hope never leaves her side at the
Yes,
hospital.
I mean they're spending evenings together. I mean she's just Hope is just taking care of her, taking such good care of her, and so she stays by her side the entire time and tells her that. I guess a doctor had Oh, that's what it was. She comes out of the surgery, and Hope was like, well, I got bad news for you. You're never going to be able to have kids. Which I think at this point she's probably past childbearing age.
She was looking to have children.
Right. And she's, I think she was kind of like joking with her or whatever. Yeah. And she said, I already have a child.
I know. That's just the sweetest. I mean, that's the perfect response.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty precious. So I just thought that was really neat how the Lord blessed her with a baby, just kind of almost out of thin air.
Yeah, sometimes God blesses us through unconventional ways.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it says Hope is 21 years old, and they're having their annual Christmas Eve dinner at Chuck's. And I think Louise is just to the point where she could barely even physically even be there.
They barely made it to their traditional dinner. Yeah.
4 days later, Louise passes away, in Hope's arms. I mean,
and this is such a poignant vision. Just thinking about this frail, weak woman laying on the couch.
And the way he wrote it, visual,
it was so beautiful.
The way that we're visualizing it, as the way he wrote it, it was really, really well written.
It was very impactful.
It really was.
Yeah.
And it was very raw and emotional.
Well, and what better love is there? Like, of course, this is a little bit situation because it was more of a adoptive type thing. But your mother brings you into the world, and then your mother dies with her head in your lap. That's just, she brought you in, and you were there when she went out. I don't ever want. I don't even want to think about burying my loved ones.
No. Yeah. And I mean, I can see maybe like being bedside, but I guess they were like at home. Were they at home?
I don't remember.
Was she maybe in hospice or something? Yeah. And because it didn't seem like she was in a hospital bed.
No.
I think they were like on the couch together or something like that. But
and some people do choose to
this is the last few days of life.
I don't want to spend it in a hospital with people coming in every 30 minutes.
Just to be home and die
I want to die in my own place.
Yes.
So,
and I feel like that's kind of the scenario here. Yeah. But I don't know. That would be an odd, for someone to be kind of holding someone.
Well, and here's a kind of another thing, and I see this a lot in movies and in books. Hope sort of gives Louise permission to die. She's like, you know what? I have a job. I'm very happy. You can go now. And then, of course, Louise just dies moments
Breathes
after.
her last, yeah.
Is that really a thing? Or is that just something they do in books and movies
I kind of think so.
Drama?
Because honestly, our will to live or to keep going can be very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that it's like they hold on for hours longer than they should have. I mean, scientifically, they should have gone way sooner. But it's just the will that we have to keep going for a little bit longer.
Sometimes they're waiting for somebody to get there from out of town, just so they can say goodbye before they go.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and so I do think that's a thing.
Okay.
I think there's just something within us that you can just almost will yourself to live a little bit longer.
Yeah. Interesting. I've never experienced that in real life.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, is this really a thing that
I think it is.
If anyone's ever experienced that, let us know. We'd love to hear your story if you want to tell it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard real stories about that. There was a man that I'd gone to church with a long time ago, and he'd gotten sick, but he had a teenage daughter. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of that kind of scenario where I feel like he just willed himself to stay alive long enough for her to graduate from high school because she needed to get her to a place where it's just okay, you can kind of
to where she could
adulthood and be out on
herself.
Your own and not I honestly think so.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. So and you do it for your loved ones, you know.
And and I don't know, maybe the Lord gives you that desire of your heart, but I think it's an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
So her boss gives her off 2 weeks to grieve her mother, but after 3 days, Hope goes back to work because she can't stand it anymore. Listen, I do not that. I'm like, if I got 2 weeks off,
I'm taking the
I'm
full
taking the
2
full
weeks.
2 weeks, and I will grumble on the way back because 2 weeks was not enough. So I don't have anything
Can't
in
relate to
common with
that.
Hope. Yeah, I can't relate.
Other than just trying to get your mind off of the loss. If
Yeah.
like getting back to work, getting busy would get your mind off of it, because just being home with nothing to do, you might be dwelling on
Well,
it too much.
But again, yeah. Well, of course, when you're in grief, I would spend that time to write or to
Right,
read
if
or
you
whatever.
kept yourself
But, when
busy.
you're in such deep grief like that, sometimes you can't focus on the things that would normally what you would use as a way to get your mind off
Right.
things.
Yeah, I mean, like reading a book, you'd sit there and read the same chapter 12 times because
Exactly.
can't
Yeah.
concentrate.
Why have I read this paragraph 5
Yeah.
times and I still have
Yeah.
no idea what it says? Yeah.
So I can imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
especially just losing a loved one, somebody that you were just really close. I mean, because they just had each other. I mean,
Yeah.
there wasn't
You didn't
wasn't
really
a
read
dad
of close friends. Neither
or
one of
like
them seemed to-
grandparents or.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
really seem to be on their own, just the two of them.
I mean, that's kind of the way it was written. It was just kind of them. They didn't really have extended family that they were that close with, or
Yeah.
which she did have was the brother still alive? I don't remember now. Maybe
Yeah.
so.
If so, there was never any.
Yeah,
He was never a part of the story.
not
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
So she goes back to work. I think like that's just the type of person she is. She wants to stay busy. She's young. She's got a lot of energy and wants to get her mind off of that. So she's back at it.
So she's at work. She becomes friends with Lyle Butler, a guy who teaches her things from the industry. And so over time, she gets promoted again, this time to associate editor. So she's writing a lot of the newspaper's political editorials. Oh my goodness, that sounds like such a perfect job. I would love to have a job where I get to tell my opinion on political things.
See, and I would probably hate that.
Yeah.
That would not be for me.
I love it. I love watching like Megyn Kelly and Michael Knowles. I love hearing their
Ben
political
Shapiro.
commentary. I'm not as much of a fan of Ben
Oh,
Shapiro.
okay.
Well, just because it's not his political commentary that I don't like.
He talks
He
very
talks
fast.
so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I just have a hard time concentrating on him.
No, I get that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like it would be so much fun because I can't have like even on this podcast, I try not to bring politics into it too much because I know you and Charity both are very
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't really like to
Like,
go into it too
"Oh,
much.
we'll talk about
and
that."
that's not what this podcast is anyway.
Right,
Our
right.
listeners they may listen to us to get away from all that. So
Yeah.
that just sounds like the perfect job to where you can talk about politics all the time.
Well, hey, you should start a new podcast.
Well, maybe. Except my problem is I'm not a good talker. Like I'm more of like like
Bumbling.
I wasn't
bumbling,
given the big gift of beautiful
eloquent speech.
eloquent. Yeah, like I watch Megyn Kelly all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
she hardly ever stumbles over her words. She gets to her sentences out perfectly every time, and I'm
Right.
like, how do you do that?
Yeah. No, I don't have the gift. I don't have that gift
No.
either.
Like I can just say a 1-word sentence and with 10 words in it, and at word 5, I'm going,
Yeah,
So-
I feel like for me, I struggle with articulating myself sometimes. It's like I know
Yeah.
what I want to say, but getting it to come out
it
the
doesn't
way
always come
that
out.
I want to do.
Yeah, I just don't feel like I have the
Yeah.
eloquent speech, but that would be so much fun to be able to do that. But anyway,
so
so
funny.
that's kind of where she goes in the next phase of her career. Her first feature is on global warming, legit scare, or liberal hot air. What do you think? What's your opinion? Global warming, real or
I'm gonna go liberal hot air
that's
for
exactly
500, Alex.
Yeah, it's a big liberal talking point that's a bunch of hot air.
I mean, they might have. There might be some validity to
Yeah.
it, but it's probably we're talking thousands of years before it would make any kind of an impact.
If you want to let us know what you think, let us know in the YouTube comments.
But I do like those shows that about some type of natural disaster,
Catastrophe,
like The Day After Tomorrow
I love
is one.
those kind of
That's a good
movies.
one. 2012. Like I do enjoy watching
Yeah,
those kind
I
of.
love a good
apocalyptic
cheesy, the
type movies.
world's about to end movie.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
them. So now we kind of advance up to she's spending Christmas Eve at Chuck's for the first time without her mother, which is such a sad notion.
Her first one without her mom. I mean, how tough would that be?
Oh, so tough. Yeah.
And then she goes home. She probably, I mean, I think she closes the place down, and even the owners are so nice and know her, know the situation, know the story, let her stay a little bit later. So she finally goes home. She goes home and notices that her door is open.
Yes.
Walks in and the place is trashed.
It's ransacked.
She has been robbed. Notices
On
certain
Christmas
items
Eve,
have been stolen. Oh, yeah. Horrible.
Horrible.
I mean, that's just...
I mean, it's bad in July, but on Christmas Eve, that's just the worst.
Yes. I mean, what's wrong with people?
Right.
My goodness.
Thieves just have no integrity.
No. None whatsoever. If you're going to rob me, at least don't do it on Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
So, I mean, come on,
and the sad thing
insult
is,
to injury.
she didn't even have a Christmas tree with a bunch of stuff on it because it was just her, and you got no indication that she was buying presents for it. So, like, they
I think they got an old TV. They didn't even get, it's not like she had a lot of valuable
a Walkman with 3 cassette tapes. I mean, yeah.
So come on, it wasn't even worth their time, honestly.
Of course, you don't know that until you break in, but yeah, it's horrible.
So it's like insult to injury. She's just had a hard day, the first Christmas without her mom, and then she goes home and her apartment's been broken into. Things have been stolen. The place has been ransacked.
She has to spend Christmas Eve cleaning up the trash, cleaning up the.
So she calls the police. So several police officers are there. They're questioning her. They're going around. They're doing this and that, in and out. And then she happens to walk by and notices this jar that wasn't there before. And it's right out. Is it right out outside her door, front door, or something like that?
Yeah.
Where it's like, where did this jar come from? And it had coins in it.
It was a little jar,
like a mason jar or a pickle jar.
Christmas jar on it,
and maybe it might have written on the jar Christmas jar or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But like a glass jar or something. It's like, wait a minute, this wasn't here before. Where did this come from? Kind of asked the officers, did y'all notice? Did somebody just come by here and put this down here? Did y'all see anything? No, nobody knew anything. We didn't see anything. It's like, well, hey, maybe somebody just wanted to bless you because, I mean, there's maybe $500 in there or something. I don't know. But
$234. Okay, the Christmas jar has Christmas jar stencils across the front, and it contains $234 in bills and coins.
So it's just like, well, hey, I could use $200. Well, I just got robbed.
Yeah.
So this really intrigued her, though.
Yeah. And this is the first mention of a Christmas jar.
Yes, which. That's the title.
That's the title, the Christmas jars.
And so you're like, okay, well, we finally arrived at a Christmas jar here. So very intrigued by it.
And
she's
of course,
who could have done it?
She's a newspaper person, so her very first thought is, "Ooh, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to solve the mystery of who brought this."
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why that piqued her interest so much. Why did she feel like it was a mystery? It was maybe just a neighbor being nice.
Somebody being nice, yeah.
I don't know why she thought it was a huge story here. Why? Why would you think there was a big story?
Because she's a newspaper person. She's always looking out for the next story. So that makes sense to me, but yeah.
Not to me. And even going as we're progressing in the book, the whole mystery behind it and how people are.
It was not a sophisticated mystery.
And why people would be kind of hush about it, this big. I'm like, that didn't make sense to me.
She went to talk to people.
I mean, if they went to the trouble of writing a letter and submitting it to the paper, then why wouldn't they talk to someone about it if they come to ask about it? Yeah. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me.
It makes no sense, yeah.
Anyways, I'm probably getting ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So she works all day on Christmas Day because, what else does she have to do without her mom? And one of her coworkers, this cracked me up. One of her coworkers is like, dude, what if you get kidnapped? Your house was ransacked. They burgled your house. What if you get kidnapped? That is so random. To me, that's funny. She was like, I'm not going to get kidnapped. It was just a random burglarization.
Well, but, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, people broke into your home. If you had been there, what could have happened to you? I feel, and, could they come back? I feel like that might be a legitimate concern.
Well, now, the officers did tell her that 4 other homes in the area had been burgled in the last couple days. So there is, funny that he was like, oh, my gosh, you're going to get kidnapped.
Well, I don't know about kidnapped, but I think if I was a single woman and somebody broke into my place, I wouldn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
Right away.
Oh, no.
And I'd be afraid they'd try to come back or try to hurt you or.
Yeah. Well, even I would do that, and I'm not a girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this kind of gets her the hackles of her, woman. So she goes to the archives, does a search on Christmas jar, and 3 articles pull up from the last several years. And this is where she starts finding these articles that have been written in the past where people have received these jars. And they published the letters sort of as, I guess, as a human interest.
Like a Dear Abby type thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, if I got a jar full of coins, I don't think I'd write the newspaper about it. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't either.
I mean, it's an act of kindness, and I would have, and it just so happened, it like would fall at a time of need for that person where I think one talks about their electricity got cut off and they were able to use that to get their electric back on or something like that, a utility bill. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's fortuitous that the at the time that they're given the jar of coins, it's like at a time of need that they actually need the money to help pay for something.
Yeah. One woman, she and her husband, several miscarriages, and so they found a jar outside their door to help pay out-of-pocket expenses for treatments so that they could have a child. And there was a little statement in there that I was like, maybe I actually had to look it up. Money for treatment so that she and her husband could have a baby to make their marriage relevant in the eternities. I thought that was kind of odd.
I did too.
I feel like, I was like, okay, this is a little nod to that weird denomination.
Maybe so.
So anyway, so I looked it up, and apparently it says in Christian theology, marriage relevant in the eternities refers to the idea that while earthly marriage is a temporary institution, it is deeply connected to God's eternal plan and has the lasting spiritual significance. It means that the covenant, love, and commitment expressed in marriage on earth are not just cultural or emotional arrangements. They are sacred commitments that echo God's eternal purposes. So I kind of agree with that. I just thought the wording felt kind of weird.
It did, and I think the way that it was written, it was like, well, at least that's what my husband says, or at least that's his theology about it, and it was kind of like, which then I think they talk about how the husband's a jerk anyways, and then they didn't even end up together. They didn't stay together. So maybe it's a blessing that they didn't have any kids together.
Yeah. Well, and like, I feel like something's wrong with your marriage in some sort of way if you need children to feel complete. To
fix the marriage. Yeah.
What do you feel about that?
Well, what's broken about your marriage that it needs to be fixed by having children?
Exactly. Because I got news for you. Adding a child into a broken marriage, it's not going to fix anything. It's going to add more brokenness.
It's going to add more stress.
Yeah, because now you brought a third party into the brokenness.
And, if it's a baby, then you have to completely devote all your time to that baby, taking care of it, feeding
rather
it,
than
clothing
fixing
it.
your marriage. Yeah.
No. So I feel like we have a tendency to think, oh, this will fix my problem. This will fix me. This will fix my marriage. This will fix my problems. Kind of like we talked about being single. Like, well, if I just get married, that'll fix me. Yeah. Or that'll fix my problems. Or that'll make me complete.
No, I'm sorry, but you don't get married to feel complete. If you can't feel complete by yourself, then no other person's going to make you feel complete.
There's an underlying issue there that marriage isn't going to fix. Having a baby isn't going to fix. Yeah. You need to figure out what is this issue within you that you don't feel complete.
Yeah.
Yes, or if there is a problem with your marriage, you need to work on that.
Have you ever felt incomplete as a person? I never have.
Well, like I said, I think my early years of singleness,
okay,
because that's how people made you feel.
Yeah.
So I think, I probably did feel that way early on. But then again, I had to reconcile that within myself and become okay and feel complete and whole and fulfilled.
Well, and thank goodness you had enough of the Holy Spirit in you to be able to reconcile that within you, because that's a miserable life.
I think only the Lord could have gotten me there.
Yeah, for
only
sure.
the Lord. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is why we need the Lord in our lives.
That's right. And the Lord's the only one that's going to be able to help fix your marriage or fix, any problems that you face. I just can't imagine people that don't have the hope in Christ that we have, when you're struggling with whatever situation you're dealing with.
And I know it sounds very cliche to people who aren't Christians or who aren't, but I really do feel that way. I don't know how people do it without him.
I don't either.
How
Because
do
really,
you
he's
get
the
through
answer to every problem you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there, to a certain degree, you can have enough willpower, enough whatever, to maybe bring yourself out of certain situations. But I'm sorry, but there's some situations I don't care how strong you are, how willful you are, how financially secure you are.
Yeah.
You can't buy your way out of some things.
No,
and
you can't.
and money doesn't solve everything, and it doesn't bring you happiness and fulfillment.
Well, exactly. Now,
Ours, like they're financially helping someone, and it's $500. I mean, it's not they're not getting like thousands and thousands of dollars.
No.
But it's just $200, $300, $400, $500, whatever it is,
Which
just
can be a
something to
blessing
maybe
if-
pay a
yeah.
bill with, or so it's just again, I kind of feel like it's overly fantasized in this book because I'm just like, it's a jar of coins. Why is this such a
Yeah.
big deal to
Yeah,
everybody?
it's not. I guess if you're on the down and out, like you said, $200 or $300
Could make
be
a,
amazing.
a difference.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme, but it does give you the warm feels in your heart a little bit. So I guess that was probably the point of the book.
Yeah.
So anyway, she kind of goes through all these letters that she found. We're not going to go into all of them. If you're interested, kind of discover all that. At this point, why don't we go into a spoiler zone?
Okay.
Because we're about halfway through the book at this point. Sold up for anybody who wants to go out and read it. So again, the author's name is Jason Wright, Wright. It's called Christmas Jars. I recommend you guys get it if you like just a good emotional read. All the traditional, Christmas imagery in it. This would be a really good book for you if that's not your jam. So pick it up. Highly recommend it. And we will be right back for those of you that are sticking around. For those of you who are leaving, thanks, and we'll talk to you later. So Hope really wants to write about these jars. There's something in her. She really feels like there's a story there, but she knows her bosses won't let her. So she sort of relegates herself to another year of just drudgery, and maybe next Christmas another letter will arrive, and then that'll sort of revive the topic, and maybe her bosses will let her. So another letter shows up, this one from a single father. We won't go into it all, but basically got a jar of money with $500 in it. And this is the first time she reaches out to one of them, right?
Yes. So this is her opportunity. So again, she, like you said, she's like, you know what? Let me just sit on this for a year. When this time next year rolls around, let me see if maybe the Christmas jar will, maybe somebody will get a Christmas jar and they'll send in a letter, and then I can try to investigate, go find the person that wrote the letter. She has all these connections where she can, and she was very, very easily was able to get this contact information and find out who wrote the letter and submitted it to the paper. So she goes and talks to that person. And again, doesn't make sense to me. Why would you write a letter and submit it to the newspaper for anybody and everybody to read, very public, and then when somebody wants to ask you about it, it's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Clam up.
Hush, hush.
The person sent it because they want to remain anonymous. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
From the author aspect, it makes sense because that's a way of just building a little bit of mystery, a little bit of suspense. Not really suspense, but just that little bit of drama into it. So from the author aspect, it makes sense. In the real world, it makes no sense because if you felt strongly enough about it to put it in the newspaper,
to publish
if someone from the newspaper came up and knocked on your door and said, "Hey, can you?"
Like, I'd be happy to talk about it.
Yeah, why would
Because you
you
wanted it to be public.
Yeah, so why not? Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense from the reader perspective, but from the author perspective, it
No,
kind
I
of
get
does.
what I absolutely get what you're saying, because you want there to be some type of a mystery she's trying to solve.
Yeah,
so,
because that's sort of what keeps the reader invested in the story to
yes,
see.
where it's
okay,
not just all transparent and all out there for you to find right then and there, and then there's, well, okay, the story's over now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it, yes, and that's what the book is building on. So, but she does get some information, though. I think she's pointed to a specific family. Is that right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before we get into this, I did have another thought while I was reading.
Okay.
You know, this is actually a pretty common theme in movies and books, where somebody's doing a good deed, somebody in the media or somebody takes it sort of upon themselves to figure out who's behind all this. Now, I've never experienced anything like that in my real life, but what do you think about that? When somebody is doing a good deed for people anonymously,
That wants to remain anonymous,
and somebody's trying to expose them, or do you feel like people ought to be able to do their good deeds and remain their anonymity, or do you think people have a right to try to expose them?
No. I mean, no, I don't feel like you should try to expose somebody that doesn't want to be exposed.
Right.
Why? What's in it for you? I mean, well, for her, what was in it was a front page story.
A front page story, yeah.
That was
her motive.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, she was willing to kind of deceive this family to get the story. Yeah. But was that the right thing to do? Absolutely not. I don't think so. If there's a good Samaritan out there that wants to do good for people and remain anonymous,
let them do it. Yeah,
they should be able to do that.
Well,
like, why does somebody feel like they need to unmask?
Yeah,
why?
It's sort of disrespectful to that person. Yeah, and but the Bible does say, not to let your right hand know what your left hand does. So so I'm like, you know what? Let the people do their good deeds.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what harm in it? There's no harm in it at all. And what good are you doing anyone by exposing this person? Using the word expose, like exposing someone, it's like they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
It's just like they're doing something good. So they don't need to be exposed for doing good things.
Now, to be clear, maybe I'm just not remember something in the book. I don't know that she necessarily had a motive to want to expose them, as she just wanted the jar, maybe just for her own self-interest. She wanted to know who did it.
No, she wanted to write a story. I mean,
I know she wanted
motive.
to write a story, but was she writing a story specifically to expose the person, or was she just wanting to write a greater story about the Secret Santa, quote unquote?
No, I think her motivation, though, was to actually expose that hey, I found them. This is the family. This is where it originated from. The whatever their names are. Like, she wanted to put it out, spell it out. Here's their names. Here's where they live. This is what they do for a living.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, that's how a lot of people in the news industry are. They are very anybody under the bus to get a story. So, unfortunately, that's...
Yes, and I guess that's probably, in a way, she felt like, well, that's how this business works. How this industry works. So I have to be ruthless to get that story, and I can't let my feelings get in the way of getting the story.
You also have that if I don't do it, somebody else is going to eventually. Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, it all felt silly to me. That what's so special about these jars, and what's so secretive about it, and why all the deception on her part? Like, I would just come out and tell them, hey, I'm a reporter, I work for this magazine, I got a jar, and I've kind of pinpointed it to you, and if they were willing, I mean, sure, maybe try to garnish some goodwill with them, build a relationship with them before you kind of...
Yeah, but, now we're talking about, so she goes to talk to this guy. Well, he's the first person that's actually willing to talk to her, and he says, I think I know who it might be. There's these people a couple doors down, blah, 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 on so-and-so street, and that's where she gets in contact. So she goes there to talk to them, and this is where we meet the next major characters in the book, Lauren and Adam.
Yep.
He's they do furniture restoration. They have a very successful business, or relatively successful.
Yes,
but
it's not
she
like
does it under the guise of I'm a college student writing a paper. So
Yes, and
she lies to them.
it wasn't necessary. I
Yeah.
feel like she unnecessarily made up this story about her being a college student trying to write a paper, and she didn't need to do that.
Well,
I just
okay,
don't
but
think
then
it was
again,
necessary.
let's look at it from a different perspective, though. Put yourself in Adam and Lauren's shoes. If this lady comes to your door and says, "Hey, I'm a college student. I'm writing a paper on these Christmas jars, blah blah blah," would you be more willing to talk to her than if she came to the door and said, "You know what? I'm a newspaper person. I'm wanting to write a paper about this." Which one would you be more apt to talk to?
And I think again the fact that the secrecy that was surrounding it.
Now that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
because it's way,
Yeah.
that people were like, just very
we
didn't want
can't talk about
to,
it.
give any information about who it could possibly be.
Even though they published it in the paper.
Just which doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. But anyway,
So I can kind of understand a little bit why she lied about it, because chances are people are going to be more receptive to a college student than to a
and so
reporter.
she did feel like she needed to kind of present herself as somebody that she wasn't.
Yeah.
And
of course they come. They're
to
like,
ingratiate herself into their
yeah.
lives and things.
They're like, "Come on in. We'd love to help you with your story." And they show her about their business, and she really gets to know. But see, here's where Hope and I are different. She really gets to know them, and over time, they very familiar relationship. Like, and Hope begins over time to feel like they're her family. And she feels like they're sort of the replacement family. That maybe this could be the replacement family that I don't have right now since Louise died. So at some point, I wouldn't have let it go that long. At some point, I would have been like, you know what? We're becoming good friends. I don't want to deceive you guys. I'm not actually a college student. What she was, well, at this point, she wasn't. She was already graduated at this point. Yeah, but I would have been like, I'm actually a reporter, because you know as well. But this is a common thread in a lot of movies, TV shows, books. People. They let the lies go for way too long, because at the end you get that big drama moment, the big
where
explosion.
they're exposed finally.
Yeah, and then of course I can understand from an author's point why he made it, because it gives you a big burst of drama at the end.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I would not do that. I would have been the type of person that would have been like, even if I lied in the beginning, I would have been like,
I would have come
"Look,
clean. I would have come clean way sooner.
Yeah, if you don't want to do this because I'm a reporter and I would like to write a story about it, I totally understand. But again, I think getting the story was more important than telling the truth for her at this point.
Yeah, because she is not a bad person.
No,
Like leading up to this, she's a wonderful person. Very honest, pure, clean. And then for her to become this really deceptive type of person that just kept the lie going for
so
a
long,
long time. And I mean, because it wasn't just the man and his wife, it was his kids. She became really close with their daughter, Hannah, where she felt like they were sisters. I mean, it's just like...
To me, you risk losing that by keeping the lie going for so long.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And again, for what? Like it didn't make sense that she was willing to go that deep into the lie, the deception, for a dang Christmas jar.
That had $500
a story about a Christmas jar that had coins in it. That's why you're deceiving this entire family.
And we all know
for like a year.
Yeah, and we all know how the news cycle is. The article's going to come out, and the next day it's going to be in everybody's trash can, and nobody's going to remember it by January 1st.
It's not like it's this big, like story that would like expose like the president of the United States. He's like in this conspiracy. Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
It literally impacts nobody.
Christmas jar.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
It's a jar with coins in it.
Are there times when it's okay to tell a lie? If it doesn't hurt anybody, if it's not with malice intent, are there times when it's okay to tell? Now, we all know what the Bible says about lying. We're not advocating for lying. But just for sake of discussion, what do you think?
That's such a loaded question.
It is.
I think something as on the surface as, "Hey, honey, do I look nice today?" Well, of course you do, honey. You would say something that maybe wasn't true or you didn't believe to make that person feel better. Like, you wouldn't be like, "You look hideous today." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, something just very simple like that.
Sorry, babe, you look like a pregnant basset hound.
It's like, does this shirt make me look fat? Yeah. You know, it's like, yeah, it does.
Actually,
you know, like,
now that you say it.
You know, it wouldn't be very smart of my husband to tell me I looked fat. You know what I mean? Even though I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but, you know, things like that, things just very on the surface, things like that, I think, to spare someone's feelings.
Yeah.
You just be like, "Oh, you look lovely today." But, you know, I guess it's all in the eye. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It really is. I mean, I look at my husband and I'm just, you know, I just love him so much and I love everything about him.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He really is. So I don't know. But so I feel like little, if you want to call it white lies,
Yeah.
to maybe spare someone's feelings or whatever. I mean, you don't have to be brutally honest, you know,
Yes.
in regard to maybe somebody's
And
appearance
a lot of people
or
masquerade rudeness.
intelligence.
A lot of people masquerade rudeness behind the mask of, I don't want to.
I'm just being truthful.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. Sometimes you don't need to be honest.
Right. Well, exactly. You can just omit.
Yeah, just say, yeah.
Certain things.
Anyway, yeah, that's just, I thought that
But-
was an interesting conundrum because,
Yeah. I mean, you know, and self-preservation sometimes wins out. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
plead the fifth. I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, who made this mess in here?
I don't know.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think it's human nature to maybe fib here and
fib a
there
little.
or whatever, but just people that are brutally honest, but that's hurting people's feelings. I mean, come on, that's not necessary. You're just being
Yeah.
mean or rude.
Yeah. Sometimes it's okay to go on the side of kindness.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think just a general rule of thumb, it's not good to lie.
Not good to lie. That's right.
You know, the truth is always gonna.
But
Be
lie she
exposed.
did, and she kept it going.
Yes, and it
And
was
Adam and Lauren and their family, like, these are genuinely good people.
yeah.
They love each other.
I loved their little business. I loved that that he had out of their home, like they transformed their garage into his workspace, and they had like a sign that said, I can't remember what the business was called to you.
Restore
something.
Inc. or I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
But cute idea. And actually recently, I'm like really into watching these restoration videos.
Yeah.
Of people taking like a piece of furniture, like a dresser or a nightstand, and just completely changing it, refinishing it. Sometimes they paint instead of like keeping the wood but I'm kind of like into watching people do that kind
It's
of
fun,
restoration.
yeah.
So this kind of piqued my interest when I was like, I like that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But they're a very close-knit family, and we get a lot of information about this family.
We do.
They even go as far back as talking about his mom and dad, some of his siblings, their dynamic and things. Because they even go back and talk about when they first got married, Adam and Lauren, when they first got married. And so we're getting into, and I don't want to get ahead, but we're getting into the origin of this Christmas
Yeah.
jar. So are we
Let's go
ready
into
for that?
Yeah, let's go into that.
So I believe it was their first Christmas as husband and wife.
Adam and Lauren.
Adam and Lauren, which they're the business owners of this restoration company.
From this point on, they're major characters in the book.
Major, yes. And so their first Christmas together, they're probably, just he actually was doing this restoration work before they even got together. So that was kind of like his occupation, but just getting started, not making a lot of money, probably doing it. So and I don't know that she works or whatever. So they're just starting out, young couple, not making a lot of money, but enough to maybe get by with.
She does the administrative side.
Yeah,
of the
so she
business.
just kind of helps with the
does
business.
the crafty side. The crafty
Yeah, so that's
side.
like their entire income.
It is
this.
yeah.
So she comes up with this idea like weeks before Christmas, not too long before Christmas.
And again, we're talking about the first year of their marriage. Yeah,
Yes.
their first Christmas together.
And she's like, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's get a jar and let's start putting some coins in it. And then by Christmas Eve, whatever we have, we'll split it, and then that's what we'll buy presents for each other with.
Which is such a cool idea.
I really do think it's a cool idea, other than waiting until Christmas Eve to buy your Christmas presents
Yes.
for someone. Because
Sometimes I do that, but I do it because I really enjoy it.
I don't want to wait that long to get something for somebody. But I really thought it was a cute idea. So I think they had like $25 a piece to spend on each other.
Yeah.
You know, they only had a few weeks to build up.
Yeah.
So they went to the store, and it was really cute. Like,
Yeah,
they go on
actually,
opposite ends of the store.
They saved $27 the first year, so they have $12 each.
Oh,
to spend.
so okay, wow.
Yeah.
So they go and
Not
just
that it
get
matters, but
get what they, you're not going to get much for $12. So, but they go to the same store, but they kind of go on opposite ends and do a little shopping, and then they go check out, and they're kind of like hiding what they got. They don't want the other one to see. They get home and they wrap and all this.
Yeah.
So it was really cute. And then they just started a tradition.
Yeah, so the next year they do it, but they start a little bit
sooner.
earlier. They start at Labor Day. They save $62, so they got $30 each to spend. The next year they do it a little bit. I think that maybe is this the year they start at Easter? No, they start at July the next year. They save a little over $100, so they have $50. So they just enjoy it so much that every year they start doing it a little bit later and saving. And so they've saved $255, which is their biggest haul yet. I think that's the year they started at Easter.
Yeah, and then again, eventually they just get to where the whole year, the very next day after Christmas, they start saving for the following year or whatever. And
Yeah, so once they get the $255 saved, this is where they decide, let's start doing this all year long. So the next year they've got $400. Yeah,
and then the dollar amount increases every year. So about 2 years into their marriage, she gets pregnant. They have a baby. They have Hannah. And so it's like, now we're a family of 3, and now we get to buy for Hannah. And so now it's like we're splitting it between 3 of us. And of course, they're going to spend more on the kid than they spend on each other and all this. And so it's just like their family's starting to grow. And then eventually they have twin girls, but they keep this tradition going, which to me it's not realistic that you would wait until Christmas Eve to buy all your Christmas presents for your family. But beyond that, it's really, really cute. I did want to, because I see what you wrote here. I wanted to say how one time she was hanging out with them, when Hope was hanging out with the family.
She stole my French fry sauce recipe.
Yeah, because she talked about how she mixed ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard together.
I
and it was
totally
like a
do
dipping sauce.
that. That's my favorite dipping sauce, except I like to put a whole bunch of pepper in it, black pepper.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I think I would be on board with that dipping sauce.
But it has to
I'm on board
be
with that.
It has to be the right color.
I bet you that would be very similar to that spicy mayo.
Yeah,
Because I think spicy mayo, isn't it, mixed with ketchup?
Yeah, yeah.
So, anyways, I saw your note and I wanted to talk about it. Cause
Now,
I did,
when I don't have all
thought that
those
was cute.
ingredients, I have gotten lately. I'm not a very spicy eater. I don't like spicy, but I've gotten to where I do ketchup and I mix hot sauce, a little bit of hot sauce in it, and it gives it just a little bit of a kick.
Well, is it Whataburger that has spicy ketchup?
I love
They
their
have
ketchup.
the little spicy ketchup packets,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, she has my
Yeah.
recipe.
Yeah.
Not that I thought I was the only one that did it, but yeah, but I thought it was funny. And I'm like, it does. It has to be, like, I literally have to keep adding mayonnaise or mustard or ketchup or whatever until I get to exactly the right color I like. I couldn't
That's so
tell
funny.
you. I couldn't tell you what the recipe is. I just know it by looks.
Right. It's just you're measuring by heart,
Yeah.
by your heart. So, but yeah, so Hannah, no, not Hannah. Hope. So Hope does broach the subject of the Christmas jar kind of early on when, again, she's kind of almost like an intern or something, like just almost like job shadowing him in the shop. And again, under the guise of being like a college student trying to write a paper about an entrepreneur. And so they invite her, they're just that type of people to be like, come eat supper with us. Come on, oh, no, I could. No, yes, you will. And so she sees a jar like on their counter and she's just like, oh, what's this? This is intriguing. And didn't want to talk about it.
No, he's like, he turns it around and he's like, oh, it's just a jar we do. And then how about you want mayonnaise on that? Yeah.
Change the subject.
He changes the subject real fast.
Yes. So she does broach it kind of early on. Didn't get anything. She's like, that's okay.
Gonna let it go.
I'm in the long.
We got time.
This is a long con. That's a perfect.
That is.
Because that's exactly what she's doing. It's a long con, man.
I wonder, that would be the good name of the book.
Long
The
con.
Long Con.
Maybe not what the author was going for.
No, he was going more for the heartwarming. But if you were going more for the...
But that's what, I mean, if we want to look at it, like, logistically, that's what she was doing.
It was.
It was a long con.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and
she's like,
the poor girl.
No,
yeah,
no worries here.
Yeah.
I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
So, so she does. She ingratiates herself into this family. They just love her like it's one of their own kids, and all of this. And there's genuine feelings, both going both ways. It's just she's keeping the secret.
And the
from
longer
them.
we read, the more I thought, "Oh, honey, you got to tell them. You got to tell them."
Why haven't you come clean?
Yeah. Because we all know the longer you let the lie go, the madder the person's going to get.
Yeah.
They're less apt to get mad if you tell them 3 weeks into the lie than if you tell them a year into the lie.
Exactly, and everybody knows that. But that's logical.
Yeah.
But it's like I guess it does make sense because, like, when you're in it, it would be so hard to come clean and then have to deal with the consequences. But again, dealing with the consequences of it earlier versus much later, it's going to be so much better on you to do it sooner rather than later.
But she knew the chances were if she did come clean, chances are she was going to have to give up the story if she wanted to keep her friendship with him and if she wanted to keep it going until she found out. But that was
the thing, too, was she knew it. She knew. I mean, the whole point was her to write the story. So they're going to find out eventually. Mm-hmm. Like, once they publish the story, she's exposed.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not like you can hide that.
Yeah. So she knew she was gonna be found out at some point. I mean, once the story was
written. And I'm
written.
just saying, I'd rather you find out from me than in the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, surely to goodness she would have told them before it was.
Which again, the author did sort of succeed because in my honestly, as I was reading, I kept thinking, "Oh, you're waiting too long. You need to tell them. You need to tell them." And I felt a little bit of tension there because I didn't want their relationship to erode.
Yes.
So that actually, even though it doesn't make any sense,
you're going to mess up a really good thing here.
But the author did that for attention in the story.
And that was successful.
Did you feel that tension like I did?
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay.
Yeah, I would say the author was successful in that.
Yeah.
Again, it just kind of was perplexing because the stakes aren't that high. It's a story about a Christmas jar, so it doesn't make sense that she would be willing to keep it going for just a story about a jar. If the stakes were higher, it would have made more sense.
Because honestly, this is really not even nationwide. This is
just a little local.
A little local
thing.
Even if she had written the story, it's not like it would have ever hit the USA, the New York Times.
I know. So it's a little silly, but we were in it. We were along for the ride.
It was
fun. Again, you did as the reader. You're like, just come clean. Tell them the truth, girl. Yeah. So anyway, eventually though. They tell the story. Their whole families had dinner and they're all in the living room and they're just having a good time together. And I think she probably broached it again, and then they were willing to just, because they all kind of looked at each other. Because she like broached the subject and they all just got really quiet and was like,
I can't believe this.
Should we? And it's like, it's up to you if you want to tell her. Yeah. It's like, all right, yeah. Which again, why the secrecy about it? Why is it? I don't know. Why the mystery behind it? But whatever. So they do. They tell about their first Christmas together, how they started the tradition of putting money and coins in the jar and then buying presents for each other. So where the tradition changed, where it shifted into what it became was, so they had Hannah, and Hannah was what, 5, 6, 7 years old?
She was
maybe like 7 or something. Had the twin girls, I think, at that point. So the twins were like babies. She's like 5 or 7 or something.
But they were old enough to start understanding kind of what they were doing.
Yeah, Hannah was. I don't know the twins. I think they were still like babies.
Yeah.
But they started to just go to the bank and exchange the coins for dollar bills, so it'd be easier to shop with. So they're on their way, their customary trip to the bank to cash in the coins, then go spend their money on Christmas presents for each other. Yeah. Well, there's a woman, I don't know if it was a young woman. Yeah, I guess it was a young woman because I think she was pregnant.
Youngish, probably middle age, yeah.
But I think she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And she was like kind of on the steps of the bank downtrodden. I don't know if she was crying, but she was upset. She was distraught. You could tell that by looking
A
at her.
5-year-old child could tell she was upset.
Yeah. So the little girl, and I guess she was holding
Hannah.
the jar.
Yeah.
Hannah, she like goes up to the woman and was like, "Here, you take this. Like, I feel like you need this more than we do." And then, like, how precious. I mean,
how do you say no to that?
yeah. And of course,
As the
like,
dad.
the parents, they'd gone on into the bank, didn't even realize Hannah was still outside.
Yeah.
Because they're, like, wrangling the twins and all that, the
Yeah.
car seat or the stroller or whatever.
And this is their biggest haul yet.
Yeah, it's the most they've ever saved. And then they look out the window, it's like, oh my gosh, Hannah's out there, there's a strange
She's
woman.
talking to a stranger.
So there, the dad rushes out there and he's like, what is going on? And she's like, Dad, she needs this. She needs this more than we do. And he just kind of like looks at Lauren, his wife, and was like, should we give it to her?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. So they give the money to the woman. So this is the first instance where they actually gave it to someone else.
Yeah, Hannah inadvertently started a new tradition.
Started the new tradition of giving it to kind of someone in need. And so the woman was grateful or whatever. We don't really find out much about that woman other than that at that point in time.
Once they give her the money, you never hear about it.
Yeah, it's just a random person that they gave the money to, and she was thankful for it.
Yeah.
So
Sparse Christmas, because at this point they don't have much money.
no, it's like
bank.
now we don't have any money to buy Christmas presents for
so
each
now
other.
they're kind of like
that's okay.
they're kind of back to the first year where they have $10 each to spend.
Right.
But you do get sort of that warm feeling of
Yeah,
knowing
it's like,
you
you know
did
what?
something
We
for
helped somebody else out, and
Yeah.
that makes us feel really good.
And they immediately start saving again for the next year. And they give it out again to a teacher who was laid off right around Christmas time.
Yep. I think one of Hannah's teachers.
Yeah. And at this point, Adam tells Hope, he says, the Christmas jar for them, it's not so much about the money, because none of the money is really enough to save anyone, but it's about their family remembering what it feels like to sacrifice something for the good of others. Such a good lesson. I love that.
Definitely.
Such a good lesson to remember as adults.
It's kind of like what
and
it
something
symbolizes.
good to teach your kids. Yeah,
It's not necessarily what's inside the jar or how much money's inside the jar. It's what it symbolizes.
It's the sacrifice. Yeah.
But so she finally gets the story, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
she finally gets the payout.
Yeah.
This is the whole point.
Of
This
this
is
whole
her
deception.
whole reason for even knowing this family and getting to know them
Yeah.
and deceiving them, is to get this story, to find out the origins of this Christmas jar.
And now
So
that she
finally
knows it, now the guilt is starting to settle in. See, she's got the payout. Now the guilt is settling in because she's like, I'm lying to these people that I truly love.
Yeah, and I feel like it's bothered her all along. It's not like she was just totally guilt-free all
but
along.
I feel like it's compounded now because she knows the story. She knows enough about it that she can actually write the story. And once she writes it, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that compounds her.
Well,
her,
it's coming to a pinnacle. It's
Yeah.
coming to a head because it's like, well, okay, now that I have the story, the whole reason is the fact that I want to write about this story, and then they'll know. Yeah.
Well, and two, she's also facing, once I tell the story, one, they're going to be mad at me, and they're not going to want anything to do with me anymore, and I'm going to lose these people.
Well, just the consequences, the repercussions.
Or now that I've written the story, even if they don't get mad at me, what if our relationship just fizzles out and it was about nothing but,
Well, and she does have this inner dialogue with herself because she is so trying to justify her actions here.
And people often do that.
Oh,
when
I've done it.
they're doing something morally gray.
We've all done it.
We've all done it. You start to
You try to
justify.
justify.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's probably one of the ploys of the enemy. Like one of the most cunning, smart ploys of the enemy. Which, when I say the enemy, I mean Satan.
Yeah.
you know. But it's like that's a very cunning ploy of the devil is to get us to justify our sins, justify our actions.
Yeah.
Because it's so tempting to want to do that.
Well, I mean, he did that in the garden when he went up to Eve. He said, "God really say?"
Yeah.
He planted that. He planted that. Yeah.
Surely you wouldn't die. Surely
yeah.
you wouldn't.
He just doesn't want you to become to
Like
have
him.
all knowledge, to know good and evil. Yeah. So that's been his MO from the beginning of time,
start.
or at least from
And
the
we
beginning of human
still
time.
fall for it.
Yes.
I mean, because that's
But it's because humans in general, we love our sin. And so we want to try to justify it to where it doesn't feel as sinful.
Yeah, we don't want to feel guilty. So in justifying it, that kind of eases our guilt. Well, you know what? I had a good reason for that.
Yeah.
There's a book called The Bait of Satan.
Oh, I love it. John Bevere.
Yes, I've been reading it.
That is a life-changing read.
Gosh. And it's talking about offense, and it's talking about taking on offense. Then you become bitter and angry and resentful and all this stuff. But you also you would justify the offense, and you might have every reason to be justified. And like if somebody, specifically, if someone hurt you in some way, and you take on offense because, wow, you hurt me, you did me wrong, and I'm justified in feeling that way because,
because I'm hurt.
It makes total sense, But oh my gosh, but
this is why in my book War Songs, it's a spiritual warfare book. That's why I chose the trap of offense.
I need to read that book. I haven't read it.
And as I was writing that book, I was like, okay, I could go the route of the typical. He could be an alcoholic, he could be a drug addict, he could cheat on his wife. But those books like that are a dime a dozen. I want to choose a subtle sin.
Yeah.
Because
just about everybody deals with.
Yes.
Like everybody deals with. Because not everybody deals with alcoholism. Not everybody deals with drugs.
And a lot of
everybody
people,
deals with offense.
And a lot of people have never really put enough thought in it to realize that offense is a sin.
Yeah. I mean, really, you could go your whole life and not even realize that that could be an issue in your life. That's a problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. Well, and I've gotten emails from several people about, they're like, I had one lady especially, she was like, Jenner is as deep as a puddle of water. We get to the end and like all through this book, he's just offended. That's stupid. I'm like, okay, see, you don't understand the depth of like offense.
Yeah. Well, and more likely, she probably has some offense in her life that's undealt with.
Yeah,
because
she was horrible. Like she said some horrible things to me. Like she was a horrible woman. But I was like, okay, I'm so glad. I don't like.
You probably struck a nerve. I mean, that's probably something she's battling, and she doesn't want to admit to.
I was a little bit hurt by it at first because I would never email an author, no matter how much I dislike their book. I would never email them and ridicule them and insult them. And I thought, and like I might for a while, but then I thought, you know what, Lord,
you struck a nerve. I guarantee it.
This woman is
she's struggling with that. I bet you she is.
I guarantee you. Yeah, and that's kind of what I felt like the Holy Spirit kind of brought me to that point. He was like, you know what? You ministered to her on some level, or it wouldn't have bothered her.
Because it probably opened up a wound for her that she had probably tried to bury. Yeah. And that's part of the healing process, is opening up those wounds, especially something that you have tried to bury and cover up and sweep under the rug.
And pretend like it doesn't exist.
And when it's exposed, that, wow, this is really an issue
like
for me.
Pouring salt on the wound when it's exposed.
And it's not pleasant, and that's not fun, and that doesn't feel good. So that's probably where she was at. It was being exposed within her, and she didn't like it.
But I knew the minute I started writing that, like when I hit on, okay, I want to do something subtle like offense. Yeah. It was almost like this peace just flooded my heart because I was like, okay.
But that's something anybody can relate to.
First of all, people can relate to it.
Everybody has struggled with that. Come on.
Plus, it could be a teaching lesson because they're all that I've heard from people that have been like, I never realized. I never thought about it until I read the book. Yeah. But I never realized how much of a sin offense really is.
Well, and how it can just keep you so bound. It really can keep you so bound and so tied up. And you can't progress in your spiritual walk with the Lord and what He has for you until you've dealt with it. I mean, because taking on offense, the things that sprout forth out of that is resentment, bitterness, anger, hate. Those things become rooted within you. Yes. And that makes you a different person. Yeah. I mean, anger, bitterness, resentfulness, you become those things. Yeah. You're crabby, you're grouchy, you have a very short fuse.
It can make you physically sick. Yeah. Well, and I just feel like in general, the average person is not going to be brought down by drugs or alcohol or promiscuity.
Not everybody deals with those issues.
But that's why it's so important for people to recognize the tactics of the enemy.
Yes.
Sometimes Satan doesn't go for the big.
He's sly.
Ta-da!
He's slick.
The big sins, and I'm not saying there's such thing as big sin and little sin. In God's eyes, sin is sin.
But I know what you're saying. Now.
Yeah,
I mean, I totally
But
get
if
it.
Satan can take you down with a subtle sin, like offense,
and that's how he gets most of us.
He's got you. Exactly. And that was my whole point in writing that book. I was like, I want people to understand.
Yeah.
You don't big things. Sometimes it's something very subtle.
Something like unforgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is the unforgiveness that goes hand in hand with offense. When you take on offense, then you have unforgiveness towards someone because they've offended you, they've hurt you, and you're holding on to that.
And it grows into rage. And
So well, that's a whole. I mean, we're going down a bunch of rabbit trails, but that's okay because this is good stuff.
It's still important. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good book. I recommend it.
Which one?
That Bait of Satan.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good read, y'all.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge person on nonfiction. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but I've read several of John Bevere. It's Bevere. The Bait of Satan is especially a good one. Yeah, check it out.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to this book. So we're kind of coming to a place where, like, something's going to happen. She's either going to write the story, she's not going to write the story. She's either come clean or not come clean. But what happens is the paper that she works for, they put out some type of an article about her because she's like employee of the month or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where they're going to see this because they subscribe to that paper and they get that paper every Sunday or whatever, you know what I mean? So she knows they're going to get the paper and they're going to read this article because it's like right on the front page. It's like a picture of her.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh no, they're going to find out that I work for this paper.
Yeah, because they don't even know that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's nothing to do with the Christmas cards. It's just the fact that she's about to be exposed for lying to them about her, about who she is. The fact that, because she's saying she's a college student, not that she's a reporter or whatever she is, an editor or whatever for this paper. So, this was crazy, Brett. So again, she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe her boss at the paper, I can't believe they did this without telling me they were going to do it and all this stuff. But so she knew, and it was by the time she realized that it had gone out and all this, she knew it was too late. Like they'd probably already read it and seen it or whatever. But she knew that exposed her for lying to them, lying about who she was. So she just disappears out of their life. Doesn't go see them, doesn't call them, text them, talk to them. She just ghosted them.
She's ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't reach out to her either.
No, I know. So this is probably a really good example of making something bigger in your head than what it actually is.
For sure.
She totally...
You can be your own worst enemy when it comes to the thought processes in your head.
Because she just made a bunch of assumptions like, okay, they have read this story. They know I lied to them and they don't want anything to do with me anymore. Yeah. But she's assuming all of this because she never once tried to talk to them.
Because at this point, the article...
A month goes by. No, a year? A year goes by. A long time goes by. So am I skipping anything you want to cover?
Yeah, you sort of see the progression. A few days goes by. She hasn't heard from them. 12 days go by. And then a year has gone by and they've not talked.
Yeah. Which is really sad that, and again, they haven't reached out to her either, which, I mean, do they even know where surely they would know where she lives, like where her apartment is.
Well, I mean, you would think.
I would think so. I feel like
you can't get to nobody for
spent a lot of time
when
together.
You've spent time with somebody for a year, you get to know things like where do you live.
So yeah, I'm sure they would have known like where to find her. Had her phone number, like knew where her apartment was. Obviously, they knew where she worked now.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's the news.
Yeah. So
that Adam has passed away.
She's working. She's at work, and she sees the obituary.
Well, somebody, no, it's the
Somebody
son-in-law calls
and wants to place the obituary notice.
yeah.
And she's like, what? Adam, I can't remember their last name, but yeah, Adam
Maxwell.
Yeah, he's like, and she's like, Adam Maxwell? That's yeah. So that's how she learns.
That's how she learns he passed away, which is so sad. I mean,
His funeral's on Christmas Eve, which is the worst day.
Yeah. And she has thought about them constantly. I mean,
yeah.
She misses them. She's been very distraught. I mean, it's like she lost her mom and now she's lost this second family. But she just can't bring herself to face them. Mm-hmm. She does end up writing the story finally.
Yeah. Christmas Jars and Hope is what she names the article.
And she basically told her story about how she received a jar and how what impact it had on her and how she had met this wonderful family and all of this, but she didn't go into detail about their personal story, about how it started and everything, because she said that's their business. So she actually had enough of a conscience to not, and especially now that he's passed away, but so she does go to the funeral, but sits in the back and then slips out before everybody's before it's completely done. And but so she does after the funeral, and she even goes to the graveside, but then parks far away and just stays in her car. But so they had the story though had ran. She wrote it and they ran it, and then she wanted them to read. So she's finally going to face them. This is the first time she has talked to them or seen them since that original story came out about her, kind of exposing her as a liar. So she goes to the house and knocks on the door, I guess, right? Was it at their house that she went to the house?
Yeah, she goes to their house.
Yeah, she goes to their house and well, that's what, she got there before they did. So she was waiting on the front porch for them to come.
She beats them home from the funeral.
That's right. From the cemetery.
We also forgot to mention after the article comes out about her being an employee and she sort of ghosts them, she started the tradition of starting her own Christmas jar.
Yes, that's true. She took...
and it does play a little bit of a role.
Yeah.
A little bit later on, at the end of the book.
Yes, because she was... I feel like having some self-discovery, realizing kind of where she went wrong, that was... Obviously, she didn't do the right thing by lying to them and deceiving them for that whole time. And so then she's like, well, I want to do my own jar. I want to go give it to someone that needs it. And she went to the park at night, which wasn't very smart, and gives it to a homeless man. But so it was okay though. She had an encounter.
She didn't get abducted or unalived.
No, right. I'm just maybe not the smartest thing you could have done.
Yeah, it's like hope. Exercise some intelligent thinking. Yeah, wisdom. Yes.
So she just went to where she knew maybe there would be homeless people, and again at dusk, dark, maybe not the best time.
Yeah, the homeless people are probably there at noon. I'm just saying.
But and then the guy tries to hug her, and then she kind of shies away, and then was like, "Oh no, I'll hug you."
Yeah.
And then she said which most of the time they smell really bad, but she said it smelled like mold or something like that. Yeah. And she's like, "I'll never forget that smell." But anyway, so but yes, so she's making a little character art. She's kind of learning from her mistakes and all this. And again, she didn't actually go through with writing the story, kind of if you want to use the word exposing their whole family history and story there. But since they do want to be anonymous, I think she finally respected that and chose not to do that. But the story, though, instead, it shifted. So the story changed from what she originally wanted it to be. And then it was just more of maybe the Christmas jars from her perspective.
Yeah.
And just how, it's good to be kind to one another and help other people out. And you don't always have to be recognized for the kindness. It's okay if it is anonymous.
Yeah.
So She wanted
there
them.
was a good moral to the story.
Yeah, she wanted them to read the story. She wanted to. It was finally she was willing to confront them and see them again. Because again, so sad that so much time had passed and they hadn't talked to each other and tried to,
Yeah, and what a beautiful thing about it is that when she kind of fessed up, Lauren just hugged her and
that made me cry.
yeah, and it's
because
like,
she was like waiting on the doorstep and here they come, and when Lauren finally sees who it is that's like there, and she just like goes up to her and
yeah,
outstretched arms and just hugs her, and then it says that Hope just broke down crying and just
yeah. Because again, in the hands of different authors, when she told them and fessed up, they would have gotten mad at her, kicked her out, and then you would have had to have 50 or 100 more pages of turmoil before the reconciliation happened. So I kind of liked that. Again, Lauren was true to character, and then she was just like, baby, you
like
messed
very
up.
forgiving.
Yeah, she was just very forgiving.
And again, but it's like, Hope, you turned this into so much more than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't that upset with you to begin with, and you would have known that if you just would have talked to them. I mean, yes, like that story about her being an employee of the paper came out without her really realizing or knowing that it was going to, and it exposed her before she had a chance to go and tell them herself. Like, she didn't want them to have to read it in the paper. I mean, she wanted it to hear it from her, but again, that's her own fault that she didn't come clean way sooner. But
yeah.
But it's just like, I think we all have a tendency to want to run and hide and not face our problems, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
She hid away. She didn't face her problems until this point. But yeah, no, it's just, they were so kind and forgiving, and
she would have saved herself a lot of
heartache,
self-flagellation. Yeah, if she had just. Yeah. But again, this is how you learn. She learned in the process of what she did to herself. She learned a valuable lesson.
Yes, and that that people aren't just an ends to a means to get a story. Like, they're real people and there are real feelings involved, and you should take that into consideration. And so I'm sure it was like a real learning experience for her. But so it was just a really sweet reunion, and she was able to grieve the loss of Adam. And even Hannah was just like, yeah, we've missed you. Like, why didn't you come back? But anyways, so one thing that happened that's kind of cool is so this is like the evening of after the funeral, same day, so Christmas Eve,
Christmas Eve
evening, and all these people start showing up with these jars of coins. Just get a knock at the door. Oh, somebody just dropped off a jar of coins because the story published that day, earlier that day. So people are reading the story about the Christmas jars. And again, she did mention them in the story.
Yeah.
And how he was a business owner around town that everybody, respected and all of this and knew.
Yeah.
But again, she didn't tell the story, though, about their personal family story about the Christmas jars. But she did talk about them, though, and how he had passed, and he's such a pillar of the community and very well liked and respected and all of this, and they're just a wonderful family and all this. But yeah, so all these people start bringing, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it's just teary-eyed moment where it's it just kept another knock on the door. Here's another jar. And it's just it just kept coming. They had, I don't know how many jars by the end of the night, a ton. And I mean, who knows how much money was in all those jars.
It was kind of a
The last person that came with a jar, it was this older lady, and she actually invited her in. There was just something about her, because most people are just leaving them, dropping it off and leaving. They're not staying, hanging out or whatever. But there was something about that woman, and Lauren was like, you want to come in? And she's like, yeah, So they got to talking, and she was like, well, a really long time ago, this little girl gave me a jar of coins. And you're like, oh my gosh, she was the woman at the bank that Hannah gave the jar to.
Yeah.
And then you find out that she was pregnant, and then she keeps telling her story enough that Lauren puts the pieces together, because Hope had told her life story, over the course of them knowing each other.
Yeah.
Told her about how her mother had abandoned her at the restaurant and all this. So they put the pieces together like, oh my gosh, this is not only the same woman. Yeah. This is not only the same woman that Hannah gave this jar to so many years ago that started all of this. She's Hope's mom. Birth mother. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't quite put all that together, like
I didn't
come to it. Yeah.
I didn't see it
until it was revealed. I was like, oh my gosh, that was kind of cool. Like how it all kind of came together. Yeah. And then they were like, well, come with us because there's somebody that you want to meet. And they knew that Hope would be at that restaurant. And
because that's her tradition every year. Yeah.
Yep. And so they kind of wait in the car, and she goes in, and they have she gets to meet her birth mother for the first time, and they so it was kind of sweet and said something about playing tic-tac-toe with tater tots or something like that, because I think that's what her and Louise used to do.
They played with tater tots.
And so I just, it was a perfect ending.
Yeah, it was. It was so sweet.
It was really, really sweet. But you kind of had to assume that the mother would somehow materialize at some point in the book, because she definitely talked about wanting to meet her birth mother. So, but I never would have dreamed that it was the same woman that they gave the first jar to.
I would have loved a second book that delved into Hope and her mother's life together.
They definitely could have. So it was cute.
Yeah,
it was cute.
Great story.
Sweet. And again, moments like with her mom, tender moments with Adam and Lauren, with that family dynamic, and then getting to finally meet her biological mother in the end, and then just like people helping each other out, like just the goodwill of humanity, just because I think we can be mean to each other.
Yeah, I feel like goodwill's not a thing these days. I know it still exists, but I feel like it's rare these days because everybody's out for themselves. Nobody cares about people.
Because there's just a lot of yuck in the world. There's a lot of evil and mean and just anger and bitter but when you read these little stories, that's just like it brings kind of some faith back into humanity, of just, because if you strip it all away, it's just like, we're all just human. We all make mistakes. Can we just get along? Can we help each other? Can we love each other?
And sometimes I think it's healthy to be reminded, okay, the world is a dumpster fire, but there is still good people out there. I've realized something, Jessica.
What?
It don't matter whether we read a 500-page book or a 120-page book. We're going to talk about it for 2 hours.
Yes, we are. We have lots to say.
Oh, I love Christmas. Happy Christmas in July.
Yes, yes. That was fun.
I know most people are not like me. They're not thinking about Christmas in July, but I love Christmas and I think about it year-round. So thank you guys for sticking with us and for listening to it. We hope you enjoyed hearing about the book. Again, Jason F. Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, The Christmas Jars. We got it off Amazon. Go check out the movie. That's probably going to be my next step.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I want to see the movie. I bet it'd be good.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone. Been great talking at you, Jessica. Always good to talk to you. And
same.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Bookish Introverts podcast, where together we explore the worlds within the pages. Until next time, stay bookish.